Our society is too far on being sensitive towards others. I gave this a little thought and I get the whole idea about being accepting of others, but there is a limit to that. I can't just go my whole day overthinking whether I said the right or wrong thing to someone, just let them deal with it like a man. It also makes me think that we take things out of the culture too personally if we are hung up on what a person said or what we said to a person. Fuck my feelings and fuck theirs. So I really do agree with this in the sense that I feel like most people nowadays out there are just out there to play the victim. They're literally searching for things to take offense from. Now, this I feel like a lot of the times is on social media, right? Where for some odd reason, most people, when they see something perhaps they don't agree with or see something that maybe triggers them in some sort of way, they can't just ignore it and scroll past. Somehow, people need to make a really big thing about it. And I think a lot of this can come from, perhaps just projecting, certain sort of feelings that you have towards whatever it is that's there. And I'm not to say that you can't, speak about these things. I'm not saying that you can't go and, perhaps make a comment on these things. What I'm saying is that I feel like a lot of people just care way too much about what other people think, right? They're so heavily involved in other people's lives and opinions more than their own, and to a point where effectively, they pretty much care more about what someone else is saying as opposed to just their own life. Right. And I mean, this is where, sometimes I'll see people that I used to sort of hang around with that would be so heavily involved in all this, I don't know, celebrity drama or whatever. And it never made sense to me because it just seemed that these people cared so much more about other people and their opinions and what they thought over themselves. Now, I'm not to say that you can't have these opinions and you can't feel these ways. What I am saying is, I think just as a guy, it makes absolutely no sense for you to, first of all, care more about others' opinions, than your own. Second of all, to look to just take offense to these things, even if, people disagree, because people are always going to disagree and have different opinions to you. And thirdly, just focus on your own life, right? Like, I can't tell you for me how freeing it is to actually not have to worry about what other people say or think, right? And look, I'll see videos, I'll see pieces of content or comments that I might disagree with, but I'm not gonna entertain it. I'm not gonna, just pour all my emotions and time and energy into trying to convince other people that I'm right or that what they've said is really wrong, because I think at the end of the day, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, right? You can sort of argue your point, but you can do it pretty respectfully, and you don't need to sort of go crazy with it. But I think really the point of this video is I just think focus on your own life more than other people's, because people are always going to have different opinions to you. People are always raised differently, right? So some of these opinions and beliefs that people have, are going to be a lot strongly defended and sort of such like that. But that's that. And I mean, when I think of sort of certain people, I think, well, you can have different opinions to someone or different beliefs, but you can still like them, right? And you'll see, for example, controversial people like Andrew Tate. For me personally, I quite like the guy. I think he's very hardworking, and I think that at the end of the day, he is not afraid to speak his own opinions, and he stands by his opinions, and I think that's fine. Does that mean that I stand by everything he says? Well, I don't know. Like, maybe there's a few things that he said, but a lot of the things he said I do stand by, right? And I do respect it. And I think a lot of the things he stands for in being able to actually get guys to the gym, working on themselves and such, that's cool, right? But at the same time, it's like, does that mean I agree with everything he says? No. But what matters is that, well, at the end of the day, he's got his own opinions. He's sharing it out there. If people, disagree with him, at the end of the day, he's just happy with his opinions, and that's that. You don't need, like, and for me, like, I don't dislike him because of whatever opinions he has, because at the end of the day, I just think, what he does is sort of respectful, and I think he's changed a lot of guys' lives. So yeah, I think really at the end of the day, just stop trying to take so much offense. Stop trying to play the victim all the time. Um, if you're looking at things, if you're spending lots of time consuming content, especially controversial content, it's like you're gonna waste so much time and energy on things that really don't matter. Right? They really don't matter. And I think some people just don't understand, that they could save so much time, energy, and stress and just the way they feel if they just spent less time on social media, if they just spent less time looking at the things that they know are controversial, that know, it's going to cause, a few anger like issues and stuff, and just focus on you, focus on doing what you want to do. And I think that's really what matters. So let me know your thoughts of this video, because at the end of the day, like I agree with this guy. I think society has really just fallen to being really too sensitive. I think a lot of people are just out there to play the victim, and just to simply, be offended all the time. But let me know what your thoughts are. And with that said, I'll chat soon.